Shady, talking to you. You were in Tampa when the Bucs beat down Aaron Rodgers 38-3. You were in Tampa when the Bucs beat the Packers en route to your second Super Bowl ring. You were in Tampa watching Tom Brady smack Aaron Rodgers all the way around. Do you anticipate the Packers get embarrassed and Aaron Rodgers gets embarrassed this weekend?
I think they get embarrassed. I think, first of all, we seen that the first week against the Vikings, who only rushed 4 guys up front. They didn't do a lot of blitzing, right? Well, that's different for Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles and the Bucs, all they do was send pressure. When we played them in 2020, Aaron Rodgers was coming off a couple of hot games, right? And Todd kept saying, yo, watch this game, watch what I do to him. And he was sending pressures from the corners, from the backers, right? Guys dropping off. Aaron had 2 picks that game.
He did.
You never see Aaron Rodgers get picks. So I look forward to seeing the Bucs guys challenging up front, right? Sending a lot of different pressures, a lot of different coverages. I see him blowing them out.
It gets ugly.
Blowing them out?
I mean, well, yeah, 14 points or more.
Yeah.
Okay.
And real quick, when we had them in the playoffs, the Packers offense, they quit. Guys leaving the field, tapping out, yeah, they quit. When you constantly have pressure on a team over and over and over again, it's like a Mike Tyson fight. After a while, I only could take too many uppercuts and jabs. It's a wrap. So
eventually, what happened?
you see, they fall down, they done, they tap out. I'm done. So we'll see.
Dave, where do you stand? You think Aaron Rodgers' Packers get embarrassed on the weekend?
No. I'm big on reading the injury report. That's like the #1 piece of advice I could give you.
Freaking journalist.
I want to get the right answer. Yeah, shame on me. Like, there's so much more that goes into this than 2 quarterbacks playing against each other. The Buccaneers are a damn mash unit right now, man. I think I said this yesterday. Like, okay, Mike Evans isn't going to play. He's suspended. Chris Godwin and Julio Jones are hurt. They might not play. Donovan Smith is hurt. He might not play. They got problems with their backup tackle. That's going to be an issue. Who's going to play for the Bucs? Like, they're already struggling with their offensive line. Now you're talking about not having receivers. Is Cole Beasley going to have to play after 3 days of practice? I don't feel good about what they have at all. So I do think the Bucs will win, Shady. Don't come for me. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Now, Joy, everything Dave said, however, primarily with the injuries, that's offensive players for the Bucs. Mike Evans out, Donovan Smith out, so many different players. But it's the beast, Levante David, Devin White, Shaq Barrett, not Winfield. Who's the young boy? Winfield.
That's
it's
him.
those beasts on defense that can really get after Aaron Rodgers. You think the Packers get it embarrassed? You think they play it close? Where you at?
I think it's going to be a close game, but I don't think there's anything to be exposed here because I didn't expect much from the Packers this year, and we've pretty much seen it thus far. They beat up on a Bears team, which we have no expectations of, and have a young quarterback, and they lost badly to the Vikings, who we just saw lose very badly to the Eagles. Yes. So this is what they are. They're going to beat up on young, inexperienced, or bad teams. They'll win a few, respectable games. But the Packers are not as good as they were last year. So I think this is going to be a close game. The injuries do matter, but it is Tom Brady, and, I'm going to lean towards my faith in him on the offensive side of the ball, even with the injuries. And, yes, they're going to put pressure on Aaron Rodgers. I don't think this is going to be a blowout, but I also don't think there's anything to be exposed here. Now, after this game, if you are right, Shady, and it's a blowout, I will have a different opinion about what the Packers are.
I was going to ask you, does this, I know last week we talked a lot about the Dolphins-Ravens game. I thought that game had huge implications. You were like, yo, Acho, it's early, calm down, can't mean all that much. Do you think this game has big implications? Because even though both teams have taken steps back, to me, they are still 2 of the top 3 teams or 2 of the top 4 teams in the NFC. Does this game matter as far as long-term to you?
I think it does, but I think it matters how it goes. Like, for example, if the Bucs lose, I'm not going to think it's the end of the world because there are injuries and they're without Mike Evans. Like, that's a fair loss. If the Packers lose and it's close, it's going to be exactly what I just said. They're not really a great team, and the Bucs took advantage of them because of the defense. Now, if the Packers get blown out, that's a different conversation entirely. So that, to me, is why we have to watch the actual game.
Yeah, I don't expect the Packers to get blown out, but if they do, that's going to change my opinion. Because I picked them to get to the Super Bowl, which I already don't feel great about that. I will feel worse depending on this. But like I said, I think the thing with the Packers is, and I'm this might be a little bit of a reach for week 3, but like I think you just have to readjust your expectation for who they are. Like, this is not going to be a high-flying team. This is going to be a team with a solid defense. Like, they've got dudes on defense too, by the way. The Packers do. I mean, they got Preston Smith, they got Kenny Clark, they got Rashawn Gary, they got Jair Alexander. I mean, that's a nice defense that is going to be playing against a depleted Bucs offense. So this is a Packers team that I think needs to win with defense and their running game. And having Aaron Rodgers helps, but like, this ain't going to be a team with 3,000-yard receivers.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an ugly game. It's also a road game for the Packers as well, so you have to keep that in mind.
I think they get bounced. I'm with Shady. I haven't given my opinion yet. I've been kicking back listening. I think they get bounced. The Packers got embarrassed by the Vikings. And the Vikings went back and got embarrassed by the Eagles. I'm not going to bring up the whole transitive property here on national television, but that's bad math if you're a Packers fan. The Packers beat up on the Bears, but the Bears passed for 70 yards. It does not matter who Tom Brady does not have on his team. There will be no 70-yard passing game for Tom Brady. Right. He might pass for 70 yards in one drive. I am with Joy. If the Packers get smacked, it means a ton. Because if it gets smacked, we know what the Packers' ceiling is. If y'all get smacked by the Bucs, a maligned Bucs team, y'all aren't going that far. If the Packers win, it means a ton. Because Packers, if you can still find a way to beat the Bucs, regardless of who is maligned, that means you can overcome, because that Buccaneers defense is a top defense in the National Football League, point blank, period. So for the Packers, this game is incredibly meaningful. For the Bucs, I do think they'll get that dub.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.